So this week from the NFL owners meetings, Kyle Shanahan was asked about the 49ers' interest in Lamar Jackson. He talked about that. We're going to let you know what he said. That's all coming up on today's San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. But also while we're talking about Lamar Jackson, a lot of buzz at the Baltimore Ravens. If they move on from Lamar, could make a trade, could make a move for Trey Lance, and could the 49ers trade Trey Lance for Lamar Jackson in a classic quarterback swap. Now, this all began because Lamar Jackson took to Twitter earlier this week and let everybody know that he requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens organization. Let's run through the tweets, and there's a whole lot to get to on the show. Appreciate all of you for watching. So a letter to my fans. I want to first thank you all for all of the love and support you consistently show towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate y'all so much. I want you all to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions in regards to my future plans. As of March 2nd, we're already about a month away from that, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that's met me or been around me knows I love the game of football, and my dream is to help a team win the Super Bowl. You all are great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to my fans of Baltimore, Flock Nation, and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again. Now with that, today's poll question is this. We're talking about Lamar. We're talking about Trey Lance. Lamar has done some really special things in the National Football League. 26 years old. He's gotten better as a passer, already an MVP under his belt. So where do you think he ranks among all quarterbacks in the NFL? Fill in the blank for me. As of right now, this is the 49ers quarterback depth chart according to John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. They said that Brock Purdy has earned the right to be the team's starter. So even though he's rehabbing off that elbow injury in which he's wearing a Terminator brace on that right arm, he is the 49ers quarterback one. Trey Lance is the backup as of right now. Sam Darnold, the number 3. But throughout this offseason, as Purdy continues to come back off that elbow injury, it's going to be Lance's QB1 splitting first-team reps with Sam Darnold. The pluses of the San Francisco 49ers quarterback room. This is why you look at it and you come away with the takeaway that they don't need to make a trade for Lamar Jackson. They have 2 quarterbacks on their rookie contracts. All 3 quarterbacks on this roster have a combined cap hit in 2023 of $13.1 million. Brock Purdy, once he replaced Jimmy Garoppolo, was great down the stretch. Trey Lance is still only 22 years old, has a lot of potential. He just hasn't been able to show it because he's only had 4 starts in his NFL career. And Sam Darnold was drafted high for a reason out of USC. He certainly has a lot of ability, but he's been so up and down throughout his career. The minuses of the 49ers' current quarterback situation. Brock Purdy's elbow injury. You're not sure how long he's going to be out. It was the Tommy John repair, not the full reconstruction, but he could be out anywhere from 6 to 9 months. If it's the 6-month timeline, he could be back for week 1. If not, he could miss the first month of the 2023 regular season. With his backup, who's now the quarterback 1 because Purdy is injured right now, it's Trey Lance. So much uncertainty around the quarterback prospect. 21 combined starts heading all the way back to 2019 at North Dakota State, combined with his short tenure in the National Football League. As for Sam Darnold, I think that he signed with the Niners and didn't have a lot of interest elsewhere because he might be bad. Sam Darnold, there's a large sample size that shows you that Sam Darnold is probably better equipped as a backup quarterback. Does he have good size, athleticism, solid arm strength? Yes. But the touchdown to interception ratio is about even, hasn't won a lot of games in his NFL career, and he's made some dumbfounding mistakes. There is no quarterback in the 49ers quarterback room right now that is as lethal, as elite, and as good as Lamar Jackson. You can't convince me otherwise because Lamar can do things that these three quarterbacks simply cannot. He's won more than 70% of his starts. None of these three quarterbacks have an MVP caliber season or an MVP trophy under their belt. That's just what it is. But we also have to segue to this. Why is Lamar Jackson available? There's a reason, or reasons, why Lamar Jackson hasn't been given the contract he feels as though he is worthy of getting. It doesn't fully make sense why there aren't more teams interested in Lamar. You look at a team like the Atlanta Falcons, they're going with Desmond Ridder. There are other teams across the NFL, like the Houston Texans, with massive question marks at that quarterback spot, who have quarterbacks who are nowhere near on the level of Lamar. I think teams are also worried about having to pay him potentially $50 million per year. And in the last two seasons, he's combined to miss 10 games at the end of the year. When you're paying a quarterback that much money and he's out of the lineup during the thick of a playoff push, that's obviously not ideal at all. Now, you look at his numbers passing the football over the last 4 years. He had the MVP campaign in year 2 in 2019, completed 66% of his passes, 3,100 yards, 36 tutties to 6 picks. The following year, not as good. Completion percentage goes down, passing yards goes down, 26 tutties and 9 interceptions. In 2021, 2022, it's the even games played here. 5 games missed at the end of the 2021 season, 5 games missed at the end of 2022. When he's been on the field, solid production in 2021, 16 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. But I'll tell you this, Lamar Jackson has never had a core of weapons, a core of wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, and a loaded roster like what the 49ers have, because what he's had with Baltimore, it's a subpar supporting cast. All right, another poll question for the people before we move forward. Would you trade Trey Lance for Lamar Jackson? T for trade, P for pass. We'll get to what Kyle Shanahan had to say coming up around the corner. First, though, today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. A lot of you know that over the weekend, last weekend, and going into the early portion of this week, I was pretty sick. But I'm fully convinced that if you build your body up, you strengthen your immune system, you avoid being disastrously sick, and you have manageable sickness. That's what I had, the latter, manageable sickness. And you know why? Because I take AG1 every day, and I firmly believe that per serving, it's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and a whole food source nutrients, boosted my immune system, and it allowed me to combat and fight that illness. I think I had the flu. It was ugly, but I was still able to work out every day. I just had an awful cough like I'd been smoking cigarettes for the last 80 years. AG1, it's a supplement that I absolutely love, and if you use our link, athleticgreens.com/chatsports, you get 5 free travel packs. If you do a lot of traveling, that's awesome. And a year's supply of vitamin D, something else that is really important in boosting your immune system. So we're going to put this link in the comment section as well as in the description of this video. The products that AG1 has to offer are top tier, and think about it. If you want to prioritize your health and wellness, this also gives you sustained energy levels, and it costs less than $3 per day on a monthly basis if you want to try to up your fitness and your health game. athleticgreens.com/chatsports. As for what Kyle Shanahan had to say about Lamar, he was, of course, pressed about this subject matter from the NFL owners' meetings. Here's what he had to say about trading for him. Everyone knows Lamar's skill set. Lamar is a stud. I'm sure they're going to work it out there, but Lamar's a great player. But we've got 3 quarterbacks we're pretty good with right now, and we're pretty set with how we've built our roster salary cap-wise. So that's Kyle Shanahan talking about the Lamar Jackson trade. But could the 49ers have a change of heart? Is Kyle Shanahan being fully honest? It's not like NFL executives and coaches have never lied before. That's the game of the NFL. There's a lot of buzz out there that the Baltimore Ravens, if they do move on from a guy like Lamar Jackson, who's going to be their quarterback? Tyler Snoop Huntley? Or are they going to go after a guy like Trey Lance, who John Lynch did not shut the door on trading him during the NFL owners' meetings throughout this week? He could have said definitively, we are not trading Trey Lance. He didn't say that. He said we listen to offers for everybody. That's why I think a Trey Lance trade could happen. Now, financially, Trading for Trey Lance, if you're Baltimore, makes a lot of sense. You go from a player who might demand $40 to $50 million on an average annual salary to a player in Trey Lance who has a cap hit this upcoming year of somewhere in the neighborhood of $10 million. So you're saving a lot of money there. It does not make a lot of financial sense for San Francisco, who currently has a stacked roster, and they'd have to undergo a lot more contract restructures, like a Christian McCaffrey, a George Kittle, Trent Williams, Eric Armstead, to free up cash for Lamar. And Kyle Shanahan even said it kind of gives you a peek into their team-building strategy. We might prefer having cheaper quarterbacks on a rookie deal as compared to paying a quarterback $40 million. Then your roster's top-heavy, and you can't afford to have a litany of playmakers like San Francisco does have. But let me ask you this question when it comes to a Lamar Jackson trade and the 49ers' lack of going after some top-tier, very expensive quarterbacks over the last couple of off seasons. You think about it, right? The 49ers checked in on Tom Brady. They didn't fully pursue him. The 49ers looked into Deshaun Watson last year. They felt around on Kirk Cousins. They made a call to the Green Bay Packers about Aaron Rodgers. Those quarterbacks, some of the best in the league. Those quarterbacks, monster salaries, $30, $40, $50 million per year. And the 49ers have a great roster, and they have over the last couple of years. 3 NFC Championship games over the last 4 years, a Super Bowl appearance back in 2019. But can you make the argument that San Francisco hasn't gotten that 6th Super Bowl because they lack an elite, preeminent, top-tier, top-flight quarterback? Yeah, probably. If they did have one of those dogs, maybe we're talking about a franchise that has another Super Bowl trophy at the facility, in Santa Clara, right in the shadows of Levi Stadium, in stacking up the roster with really good players, but not going after one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. San Francisco might be making a philosophical mistake in what is right now a currently existing Super Bowl window that is alive and well. Here's why Lamar Jackson is really appealing for the Niners. 26 years old, in his prime, 46-19 as a starter. He's won nearly 71% of his starts. Dynamic, dual-threat ability. He's already won an MVP, and he has staggering production running the football as well as passing the football. Here's why you'd hit pause, though. You might have to pay $50 million per year. In the process, because you're paying him all that money, you might not be able to pay Nick Bosa, Brandon Ayuk, and some more stud players. He's been banged up and injured. He's missed 10 games, combined the last 2 Decembers. Going into January, he's really struggled in the NFL playoffs. 1 playoff win on his resume. What is his ceiling as a passer, and has he met it already? Because sometimes he struggled throwing the football consistently, and you have 2 quarterbacks right now on the rookie deals for the Niners, which allows them to have probably the best all-around roster in the National Football League. So this is a loaded conversation. It's one of the biggest topics of conversation across the National Football League right now. I still think that a Trey Lance trade is in play. And if Baltimore doesn't see a future with Lamar Jackson, could they even make a trade for Trey Lance and Lamar Jackson goes elsewhere, not to the Niners? That's how the Trey Lance tie-in is here. That's why the Trey Lance tie-in is on the show. The 49ers could either trade for Lamar. They might not trade Lamar, but also they could trade Trey Lance to Baltimore as well. All right, if you made it to the end of the show, we, of course, appreciate you for supporting the largest independently run Niners channel on YouTube. You're a real one. If you're still watching, that means that you're one of the realest real ones out there. So give me a real one roll call down in the comment section right now. Hope you all have a great weekend. This is the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for watching, and have a phenomenal weekend.